Hey guys, what's up? It's Monkazunky and welcome to a new video, a type of video that we've never seen before, and we're going to be going to a ledge on this video and jumping off of it, suggesting game content. Oh boy, this is very edgy already. So of course, before we start, let me know what you think about this type of video, whether you think it's a horrible idea and I should never do it again. Don't worry, if you have that opinion, I won't be offended. Or if you think it's a good idea. But of course, let's get into this. So what I decided to suggest on Runelabs earlier today, and it's the first time I've ever done it, so it's of course very exciting, is something that I believe would make the quality of life in the game better, would reduce grind, and make bad RNG much less punishing for certain types of accounts. Now, not everyone feels that bad RNG and grind make the game bad. I'm the kind of person who would rather do fun things rather than grind one specific task over and over, but of course I do realize that there are people that like grind and are a fan of the fact that you can go super dry at one boss, and that going dry at that boss can be very punishing towards your account. And if you're one of those people, you probably won't like what I suggest, and that's completely fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. However, it is concerning the Ascension bosses. Now, how the Ascension bosses work is you can kill them by buying keys off the Grand Exchange, and you kill them and get a Signet from each one, and if you go dry on one of the Ascension Legios, then you just have to buy more keys and you lose more money. So for a normal account, that's fine. I actually really like the boss mechanic for a normal account. It's very different from any other boss, having to pay for each boss fight, and not like an instance or anything. Each individual boss takes a keystone, and they can be quite expensive, especially if you go dry. So for a normal account, there's nothing wrong with that. You lose a bit more money, and it sucks, but it happens. But for specific types of accounts, with some recent updates, the way that the Ascension Legios work doesn't really work very well with people who are going for boss pets and also for Iron Man accounts, just because the way that the bosses work with the keystones is very funky and does not fit in very well with the game style. So what I mean by that is, for people who are going for Ascension Legio pets, we'll explain the negatives of that first. What happens is, because the pets are so rare and each boss has a pet, what's very likely to happen is you'll get one or two of the pets if you're going for all six at a much later date than the rest of the pets, and by the time you're done, you'll probably have a whole ton of Signets left in your bank that you can't make crossbows with, because let's say you got Legio Tertius pet right away, and then you have all the Signets for the other bosses, but you'd have to go kill a few thousand Legio Tertius just to make those into crossbows, which you probably don't want to do because you've already camped Ascension Legios for a long time and you have all of their really good pet drops. What I'm suggesting is that you should be able to pay the Ocellus guy who is standing outside of the Ascension Monastery. It's the guy that you buy the threads for so you can make Serenic armor, 10 mil cash and 1 Signet in exchange for any other Signet. Now, you'll still definitely lose some money if you were to go and make all of the Ascension crossbows from the leftover Signets, so it costs a bit more, but you would get some of your money back that you would have wasted on the Signets otherwise, because making them into Ascension crossbows, even if you're paying 20, maybe even 30 mil to exchange Signets, you're still going to get back more than just having those Signets in your bank and not using them at all in the future. Also, this would be really beneficial for Iron Man accounts, not for the normal Iron Man account, and I do want to clarify that I'm not dry at any of the Ascension bosses on my personal Iron Man account, but I do have friends who are, and I believe the YouTuber A Friend as well went really dry on one of the Ascension bosses and ended up just giving up because it was too much of a grind. Of course, for Iron Man accounts, you can't buy keystones, so if you end up going dry on one of the bosses, which is fairly likely to happen, that can literally translate into maybe 100, maybe even more hours spent camping Rarari just because you went dry at one of the bosses. And obviously, if you do go dry, this will lead to it taking way more time than it would to get a tier 90 weapon at Araxi or something like that, and it ends up being extremely punishing for Iron Man accounts. With, say you go 200 kills dry at Sectus, that's literally about 200 hours spent camping Rarari just because of the one boss that you went dry against. And this seems pretty unfair because you'll be getting all types of keystones, all 6 types of keystones, but you only need the one, and the only way to get them as things currently stand is camping Rarari, and they are pretty rare as drops. So for Iron Man accounts, being able to trade some of those extra Signets and actually get some use out of the keystones that they already have the Signets for potentially would be really beneficial. And also the 10 mil cash makes it kind of difficult for Iron Man, and there's definitely a payment involved there because 10 mil isn't super easy to make on an Iron Man, especially at a low level. It does take quite a while. So of course the main point of this update is just to benefit those accounts who are going for all the Legio pets, and probably everyone who has all Legio pets or is going to go for them in the future has leftover signets and maybe would rather be able to change them in for a small amount of their money back instead of having to camp tons and tons of more Ascension bosses that they don't even need to kill otherwise just to finish the crossbows and get their money back. And of course for Iron Man accounts as well. This would be incredibly helpful, reduce a lot of the useless, senseless times grinding at Rarari, which just isn't fun at all and really is just a way to AFK and waste time that could be better spent doing things that are actually fun in exchange for the ability to get these signets a bit faster, but still have some cost involved with having to exchange 10 mil for the signets. So of course, let me know what you guys think. I'm not going to be leaving a link to the Runelabs post in the description of this video because I really only want people to support it if you have interest in this coming into the game, so you're going to have to find it yourself. If I leave a link, people will click on it that don't really care and support it, and that's not really in the spirit of having updates in the game anyway. Of course, I obviously think this would be an awesome update and really benefit the game, but not everyone might have that opinion, so feel free to leave yours or why you think this would be a bad idea, or maybe some cons. I can't really think of any other than the fact that some people might not like the ability to get stuff easier with less grind. That's the only negative I can personally think of anyway, but feel free to let me know your opinion. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time, so farewell.